Sue, do you have all the information for the public hearing when it was posted in the paper, dates?
It was posted last Monday and this Monday.
Last Monday and this Monday?
Yes.
All right, so that would have been the 4th and the 11th, correct?
Based on what Sue said, yeah, those are correct dates.
Okay. All right, well, let's get started. I said we'd give it another 5 minutes, and Patricia Ray's not on yet. So let me call the meeting to order. Town of Voluntown Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting and public hearing to order for April 13th at 7:16 p.m. All right. Because we're all online, can we just state our name and either a full member or a alternate? So Scott Davidson, full member.
Joe Zonfrilli, full member.
David Niemanen, full member.
Steve Stefanski, full member.
Juliet Hodge, alternate.
Okay, is that everybody? And so John, the town planner's on. Is Pete on as well? Of English?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So right now we'll see Juliet. If Patricia Ray comes in, we'll put Patricia on. The public hearing that was posted on April 4th and April 11th in the Norwich Bulletin. The first would be the zoning regulation text change for accessory apartments. I'd like to open that public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, this is John Guzkowski.
Yep.
Sue, would you be able to let me share my screen, and I'll just put the reg up on the website or on the Zoom?
Hang on, John, 1 second.
Thank you. So while she's doing that, I'll just note that so this is a proposed regulatory change proposed by the Planning and Zoning Commission and reviewed by the regulations workshop a couple of weeks ago. That is meant to bring the town into compliance with Public Act 2129, which was a change by the state last summer to basically mandate that unless a town opts out, it should treat from a regulatory basis accessory apartments the same as single-family residences. So anywhere you allow someone to build a new home, a new single-family freestanding home, according to the state statute, you should also allow an accessory apartment as of right. And so we've drafted section 8-15 to basically replace the current family apartment regulation and will bring the town into compliance with Public Act 2129. that basically would allow any residential lot to add one accessory dwelling unit and only one. As of right, it could be attached or detached. It needs to conform like any single-family dwelling with all regulatory minimum lot width, setbacks, lot coverage. We have a minimum of 400 square feet and a maximum of 1,200 square feet, or 35% of the floor area of the primary dwelling, whichever is less. Have 2 bedrooms or less, have separate cooking, sanitary, sleeping facilities, so it's not just sort of an addition. Satisfy building and health codes in terms of its septic system, in terms of its construction standards. Have sufficient off-street parking, but does not need a new curb cut. And then, basically needs to meet all other public health codes. But it's basically any standard, aside from the square footage thing that we discussed, any standard for building a single family unit would also apply to the accessory dwelling. And the purpose of this, per the state statute, is to expand the range of housing opportunities in town and to grant this ability. Again, this is not a mandate of any individual property owner. It is just enabling and allows people to do something additional with their property that they might not have been able to do before. So that's the brief summary. I'd be happy to answer any questions or turn it back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. It's Juliet.
Hold on. So, Patricia Ray is like on, apparently. She can hear all of us, but she can't talk. You need her to call back?
No, if she can, I'll just need, once John's not sharing the screen, I'll be able to let her in.
Okay, so let you
Sorry.
in a minute.
Go ahead.
Right.
Unless she's just watching on YouTube.
Yeah, I think she is, because I'm not seeing, nobody asked to be entered into the meeting.
She may have clicked the YouTube link instead of the Zoom link.
Let me call her back then.
Okay, just for a
Okay.
point of order, if the public hearing's already open, she couldn't be sat for this public hearing right now. She could wait to the next one though.
That's fine. That's fine.
Did you want me to still wait to ask a question?
It's a question for me, Juliet.
Yeah. You said maximum of 2 bedrooms. We don't limit the number of bedrooms for a single family house. I don't think you can do that.
I believe that
Doesn't allow
is that not in the statute?
it. Mm-mm.
All right.
You can just limit the size, which effectively limits
Right, we do.
how many bedrooms, but you can't limit the number of bedrooms. And I did have an interesting conversation that similar to the one we had about the minimum lot size.
Mm-hmm.
So in theory, you could require, so if it was a 2-acre zone or an 80,000 square foot zone, right? You could require that the minimum lot size be 75,000. It just can't be.
Oh, right. It can't be more restrictive than that. Right. It could be more, and that's actually what this regulation allows. I think the statute says 1,000 square foot maximum. This commission opted for a 1,200 square foot or
Right.
35%. So it is more permissive. You can't be more restrictive.
So if you wanted to put a minimum lot size requirement on, it is allowed. It just can't be more than what the minimum
Right.
lot size is for the zone. So.
Right.
I don't know if people had an interest in that, but that would prevent an accessory apartment from being on a woefully undersized lot.
Well, if
Right.
it met all setbacks and it met public health, it could be.
Yeah, but in this regulation, you could add that the minimum lot size, no matter what, can be, as long as it's less than.
Oh,
what
I
is
see what you're
allowed.
saying. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay.
So if you had a 20,000 square foot
Right.
house in an 80,000 square foot zone, you could say that the minimum lot size has to be 75,000.
Right, but if you do have, I mean, getting in those weeds, like if, you know, if you're in the village on an unbuilt lot that's only a half an acre, you could put, if you could, you know, conform to setbacks, you could put a new single family dwelling on an undersized lot of record.
Right, but you couldn't put a accessory unit if it didn't comply with that.
Oh, huh. Interesting.
Well, we can talk, doesn't seem to be a popular one that people are doing. It's just a discussion
So-
that I,
Juliet, would you be interested in removing the 2-bedroom language from the proposal?
I would be. I don't think you can put it in there. That was my understanding, but
Mm.
I could be wrong. Because you don't limit that for a house.
Right.
If you can't limit height, if you can't, you know, I mean, you can't do any of those things, from what I understand.
Can I ask one quick question here? Has this text amendment change that we did gone to the town attorney?
I have not submitted this to the town attorney.
Okay. I think maybe we should have submitted that to the town attorney. I understand what you're saying, Juliet, but I also, I mean, I think maybe the town attorney should maybe review it as well.
That's fine. Just have them look at that exact one because I was under the impression that we couldn't do that.
That's fine, but I think ultimately the town attorney would have the ultimate say in it, whether it is compliant or not compliant.
I had a question on the terminology for access door that you have on there. To be more consistent with building code, would it make more sense to have an approved means of egress instead of an access door to the basement?
I agree.
Where are we?
So
Oh, access
Can
door,
I-
yeah. So
can
this
I-
should,
talk on that one, John? So understand that we were talking about egress. The other thing that at one point they actually wanted one wall open to grade, which I think is too restrictive. And I do agree with, I understand access, but I think the board was looking for that there needs to be an actual physical door, whether it's a bulkhead with a door at the bottom, but it needs to be more than just like an egressable window with a trough.
Well, yeah, if you're gonna do an apartment in a basement, it's not gonna comply with building code anyway, so you're not gonna be able to do it. So that's why you gotta have approved means of egress for that.
well, if it was an at-grade exit, like it was a walkout basement, is that not considered a basement? Would you be able to do one down there?
It was that great. You could even do, there's egress building codes. They make building codes that are egress, that are approved means of egress.
And so
What is
would that be allowable to be an apartment?
Yeah, as long as it's an approved means of egress. So it'd have to meet all the compliance for a means of egress out of the basement.
So that's another question for the lawyer then too. Can we impose that kind of a design?
Yeah, I would just say like egress is more of, that's terminology that's more consistent with everything with building code too also, instead of just access.
You could ask if you're allowed to say, to get to Scott's point, like an at-grade approved means of egress or something like that, or I don't know. I'm not sure you can do that either though.
Yeah, because they have EROs that you can use you're gonna need for bedroom windows anyway if they're putting those in the basement. So
Right.
they're emergency rescue openings that would have to comply with the building code also.
But at that point, Pete, the building code kicks in, not the zoning code, correct?
Right, and that's why I was saying access is not really a consistent language with zoning or building.
Okay.
Egress is more consistent with it.
Which we talked about when we were in that. I said, mostly the building code will tell you that you gotta have egress coming out. I didn't like the terminology of having to have one wall open to grade. I didn't like that at all because it takes a lot of people off the plate. I was just trying to get it so that so you think just put egress in there instead?
Yeah, because it's gonna go to the building code anyway, so when they come in, they're gonna have to comply with the building code at that point. So it's just language similar to what's in the building code.
Right. Well, so my concern is that somebody would put, not a Bilco that's egressable, but they would put I know that they make the window well troughs that you can put an actual egressable window into that trough.
Yeah, that's the EROs, emergency rescue openings.
Right. And so I think we were thinking that they need their own access in and out separate.
If you're making living quarters in a basement, you're gonna need egress out anyway.
Correct.
On top of the emergency rescue openings.
Okay. Got you.
You have to have a door, don't you?
You have to have an emergency rescue opening out of your bedrooms, and then you still have to have another access egress out from that floor on
Right.
top of the bedrooms.
Correct.
So can't you just make means of egress according to the current building codes, the language?
And that's why I was saying approved means of egress, which would pretty much swing you over to the building code anyway at that point.
Right.
Okay.
So can't we just add, according to current building codes after that?
And you already have that in there.
Yeah,
Right, we
if you
do.
did
Yeah,
approved
okay.
means of egress, you could put a definition of what means of egress is and make that consistent with the building code and stick that in the definitions.
So can people see the markup that I put up there?
Yep. No, I did.
8.15.4 pushes you to the building code anyway.
Right.
Yeah, you just want the language kind of consistent as much as possible.
So, Mr. Chairman, we have two potential edits. One being removal of 815.32, the 2-bedroom maximum, and then replacing the language in 815.6, where it had said access door to the building exterior. We replaced that with approved means of egress.
Yeah. Yep. And like I said, I still think this should probably go to the town attorney, but let's get out of the public hearing and then we can discuss all that in the actual under old business.
But we
I
can't do
know.
that because you have to get the opinion of the attorney during a public hearing.
Well, I think personally, what I think is that we need to table or continue this public hearing to next month and get his opinion in it. That's what I think we should do.
Right.
So if there are other questions or comments, if you want, then we could, if there are no other questions or comments, if you want, you could entertain a motion to continue following, the review of attorney.
I'll make that motion.
I will second that motion.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? None. All right, so motion carries. So let's continue that public hearing next month. And then we also have another public hearing, which is number 765 80 Preston City Road, Patrick St. Jean, text amendment on section 5.3 of the zoning regs, which was posted in the paper on April 4th and the 11th. Patrick, do you have anything?
No, I don't have anything. Just hope for approvals.
Okay.
So if you want, Mr. Chairman, I'd be happy to share the screen with the proposed amendment on that one too.
That's fine. Please do that as well. John.
So this is, again, so Mr. St. Jean had discussed with us previously his interest in converting an existing non-residential, building in the village to multiple dwelling units. And the lot he is looking at is small, and the current minimum lot size under the village zoning districts would require a minimum lot size of 45,000 square feet, just over an acre, with 15,000 square feet per apartment unit, which would obviously leave properties that are less than an acre out of consideration for multifamily. And so the proposal is to add basically a qualifier in there that 45,000 square feet minimum would apply to new construction or substantial reconstruction to existing buildings, but for renovation or reuse of existing structures, which is to say structures that existed at the time of the effective date of this potential regulation, that the density would be determined by the capacity of the site to support septic system and on-site parking, rather than an arbitrary 15,000 square feet per. So it would allow for basically redevelopment of existing buildings in the village.
Do we define substantial reconstruction in the regs? I gotta look it up quick.
I don't believe so.
Probably do that. No.
And I would also note that this would, in any case, this is multiple family units in the village are a special permit use. So it would have to, any proposal would have to come before this commission and have a public hearing, et cetera.
So John, I know that when we discussed this before, one of the questions that was asked is how many lots will this actually affect? And I don't know that we ever got that answer.
We did do a map that in the village there are approximately 110 parcels with buildings on them that are less than 1 acre.
Wow.
With existing buildings on them?
I believe so. We had shared that map at a previous, I think maybe the workshop.
Okay.
And all of them in an area that allows multifamily?
In the village zone.
It's still a good trend to not be so nitpicky on density, just let the site determine what can be there. I mean, I'm all in favor of that, but
And
I'm
it would
worried
be
I'm worried
case by
about the
case, a special
thing.
permit.
Right, exactly. But if you don't define something, I assume that you guys go to a regular dictionary and that's spelled out somewhere.
Yes.
But it just means the replacement of more than 50%. You got to just watch out what definition you'd be choosing, because in this case, given that building, I'm sure you're going to spend more than 50% of the value. I wouldn't want that to screw something up,
Can I make a comment? This is Patrick St. Jean.
Sure.
Okay. So the comment is the upstairs part of the building was already a multi-family.
Oh.
So, because I think counted total of 8 bedroom was upstairs itself. So the downstairs, the diner would be part of upstairs, one of the apartments there. So it still be 2 apartment, but one of them will be more like a townhouse. So, which is over 1,100 square feet for downstairs, living room, dining room, and kitchen. And upstairs is like over 900 square feet. That's about roughly a little bit over 2,000. Just for the townhouse part. And then the other part is about 700 square feet. So the only other part that would be that I have a question about, or I'd rather say I have a comment about, is the restaurant part, which is two small bedroom. I'm trying to, that's what I'm trying to get that as far as that goes. But as far as like the existing multifamily upstairs, that was already existing. So there's nothing I'm doing to change as far as like, actually make it less bedroom than more bedroom. So it'd be a total of 5 bedroom upstairs instead of 8 current bedroom that was upstairs. And then the bar part, that's where it'd be the other 2 bedroom, which is really, that's just my view. I'm not really into the zoning and anything, so you guys can guide me as far as that goes, or able to decipherate all the codes and terminology. But the bar area is really where the problem is, because I'm estimating or assuming, because the upstairs was already a multifamily that's grandfathered into what I'm doing or what I would like to do.
Well, again, here's a definition of substantial reconstruction from the law. The attorney, whatever that site is, means the alteration through remodeling or expansion or other changes made to an existing structure that includes modifications to its wastewater and or stormwater systems and or materially changes the size and or intended uses in ways that increases or are likely to increase wastewater and stormwater flow. So all I'm saying is just be careful, because depending on how those are defined, you could be contradicting yourself in that sentence.
Yeah. So I mean, I would be okay for, well,
That's something we should think about, I guess.
We're gonna put a defined term in there, let's stick it in the definition.
Yeah, we'd have to define it ourselves,
right. We wouldn't want to use that definition.
right? So what do you say for new construction?
Anybody else have any questions?
What do other people feel about that, though?
I will say, I think that we should continue this public hearing as well, due to the fact that there's no power at town hall and nobody could get in. We can't really take citizens' comments right now, and that's kind of the reason for the public hearing. So, also, I think maybe we should send this reg change as well. If we're going to send ours, attorney, I'll send this one as well and get his opinion on it as well.
Do we have a hefty attorney budget line item?
Rich Roberts is pretty good about being efficient.
They treat us very well.
That's good.
Yeah, I'd be happy to forward this to him if you wanted to, and if the commission would like to see a definition added for substantial reconstruction.
I think you would need to here.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, that next paragraph is, we gotta work on these regs.
Oh, you're looking at the mixed use, Julia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Offsite.
We're not doing that.
I make a motion to continue the public hearing to the next meeting so we can get a legal opinion and work up a definition for substantial reconstruction.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So this will be continued to next month's meeting as well. I'll get that. John, you'll take care of sending those to the attorney?
I will.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is approval of minutes for February 2022. I think it would have been March, right?
Okay. The March meetings were included.
Yeah, it's on the agenda, it says February, but it's March's.
What is that?
There was Pat on?
I don't know who Fort Bryan is. There's an iPhone.
No, that's Brian Musciano, alternate.
Oh. Do you guys make a motion to vote on the minutes or you just accept them as written?
I actually, when I was looking at the minutes, the item number 1, public hearing was called to order at 7:01 on application 764 in text amendment to section 8.16 of the zoning regulations and adjourned at 7:20. No discussion, nothing in the minutes that say what happened in that 19 minutes. I just think something should be added there.
Oh, the first one?
The very first one.
Okay, I see.
It's opened at 7:01 and closed at 7:20. But there's nothing in the minutes here that say actually what happened in the public hearing.
Like who presented?
Correct. Who presented, what items
reasons
were
for
given,
voting?
right?
I agree with that.
They're way too vague.
We need more detail. We need more detail in those 19 minutes.
Well, you definitely need the motions.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing here.
Was there a motion? I don't remember.
Oh, there was several. It was 19 minutes worth of conversations.
Does anybody remember what the motion was?
I don't remember at all.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
So can you review that and redo that?
Oh, you could go back to the YouTube.
Correct, but for written documentation, I think it should be in our written minutes.
Oh, no, to
Oh, yeah,
get-
absolutely, to get the answer. Oh, 100%.
Correct. I make a motion, we table these minutes for more detail in one next month.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Additions to the agenda. Sue, is there anything?
Is Sue still on? Where's Sue?
John, is there anything?
I don't think there's anything that's not on the agenda.
Okay. Citizens' comments. Is there any citizens on that would like to speak? Apparently not. All right, old business. I guess we can take off the 765 80 Preston City Road. It's tabled, we can't do anything with it, correct? And same
Correct.
with the text amendment change for our apartments.
Both, yeah,
Correct.
both items of old business have been continued for the public hearing.
Continue, correct. All right, new business. Number 7, application number 768, 17 Beach Pond Road, David Andrews subdivision. Is David on?
Yes.
Okay. So, John, do you have copies of everything?
We have a hard copy of the proposed subdivision map, application, and a letter from Uncas Health District. They were not scanned electronically.
They weren't. Okay, so I think we need to table this till next month. Correct? Nobody's got it?
That's
I've-
correct.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that the commission would have to, we have to either scan it if we're doing another virtual meeting, or you would have to see it in person.
Correct.
How do we get copies of it as commission members? Do we have to come to town hall?
Well, they should be mailed out to us, but that's neither here nor there. But either which
Okay.
way, we need to table this till next month, correct?
Correct.
Can I ask a question?
Mhm. Yeah, go ahead.
I was wondering,
David,
yeah, this is Dave Andrews. I was wondering if this has to go to a public meeting, or if this is something that can be decided on or approved, I should say, next month.
so here, the way that a subdivision goes, we can either do a public hearing, or it's up to the discretion of the board. My guess is it's probably a pretty easy and cut subdivision, but I don't have the stuff in front of me, so I couldn't tell you at this point.
Yeah, just basically dividing a 2-acre parcel into 2 1-acre parcels with sufficient road frontage.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, we table it to next month when everybody can see the plans, you can present, and then go from there.
All right, thank you.
I'm gonna make a motion to table this till next month.
You're making the motion? If so, I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. All right, Town Garage. Application number 769, 85 Gate Street. Site plan installation of 2 1,000-gallon propane tanks and cement pad. Do we have stuff on that too? And I'm assuming this is just a review at this point, correct?
Right,
Kate?
this is just a site plan review. And I can, this was in your calendar, the agenda materials that Sue had forwarded. I can put it on the screen if you'd like.
Okay, yeah, it actually is. I got it.
Is it a formal site plan? Like this is,
It's put together by Zano and Associates, Volantown Town Garage, location of new pad and propane tanks.
no, I know, but does it require a formal site plan review? Or is this a different kind of site plan, like a plot plan?
This is
It's a municipal review is what it is.
it's listed as a site plan review. I don't,
So I mean, like, are there, like, in accordance with site plan standards in here? sorry to be ignorant, but do you guys have that out where if a formal A2 survey site plan isn't required to make a decision on this, you get to accept a plot plan?
To be honest with you, Juliet, I haven't dealt with this commission and site plan review yet.
What chapter is site plan in? 29.
In
I
the
guess-
past, one of the selectmen has come before the board to give the site plan before the board so we could see it and speak about it and answer any questions that we would have. I don't think there's anybody on Zoom tonight.
No, my more, the concern was, this isn't a site plan, like traditional
it's not a
site plan
full-
for standards. It's a
Right.
plot plan. Why
Right?
isn't it an accessory? Why isn't it just a zoning permit?
It's, so this is more a municipal review.
What is it? 8-22? Is it 8-22? I don't have the regs in front of me.
This is
24,
this is
but
not
that-
an 8-24 referral.
No, it's not. Okay.
No. It's not, this is not a significant investment or acquisition.
Pete's here. Ask Pete.
Yeah, it's the installation of the gas tanks over there with some fencing going over there, so it's just a modification of an approved site plan on the town garage.
Okay.
Right, but well, here's one thing to make sure we get into the regs then when we write it, because you don't give yourself that out. Sometimes you have a regulation that says if a full-on site plan isn't necessary to determine compliance with the regulations, then you can submit a plot plan, but I don't even see where the boundaries are of this. I'm sure it's fine, but this doesn't
There's
tell
somewhere,
you.
I don't have the regulations in front of me. I thought there's somewhere in there where it's a majority vote. 2/3 majority has to vote on it in order to,
You can't waive things anymore. That's illegal.
well, it's in there still.
Well, you could waive components of a required site plan.
No, you can't.
Sure
No,
you
you
could.
can't. Mackenzie, no, you cannot. Oh, you mean like things like on it, like show the septic system or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Well, so maybe you can just waive the A2 requirement. I don't know. You should probably give yourself an out. Anyway, that said, I thought it should be like a zoning permit accessory, but
That's what we usually do, except when it comes to commercial, when it comes to this, the board likes to see them.
no. Oh, so you could just treat it like a
So I-
zoning permit that you are getting the opinion of the commission then.
Yeah, I could do it that way, absolutely. It's just in the past, the commission has requested that I have these submitted to them to review. So I've just done it that way.
How far is it from the sight line? From the property line? And does that matter?
So you got the map on there, John? Pull up.
It doesn't-
I don't
doesn't
have
have-
anything in front of me.
Yeah, I can pull it up. Hold on.
I mean, is the fence line the property line in this case? I don't know the property.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see.
So Pete, does that take them, so according to this, they're gonna end, so they're applying for 2, but realistically, they already have 1 there. They're going from 1,000 to 3,000?
Correct. Extending, it's right on, extending the pad, the existing fence line, new propane storage tanks, they're looking to move them towards the back, closer to the fence line.
What's the setback in that zone? Or what zone is it?
It's this is in the village district, and properties, both properties are owned by the town, right there.
I don't know what these are. Um,
Pete, just out of curiosity, do you know why they need 3,000 gallons worth of propane for that garage?
No, they didn't explain any of that. They just basically installed it.
I didn't know if there was a generator they're running off of it and they don't want to lose power, or it's an emergency. I don't know.
They haven't given me much information, let's put it that way. They came in quick. They thought they were gonna
Okay.
get a quick turnover, and this is what they did.
Gotcha. That's a lot of propane.
Probably would have been
That was-
better if one of the members that was so insistent on this going through so fast actually showed up at the meeting to give a presentation on it.
Yes.
so Pete, is that fence line the property line?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it has, does this
If
new,
actually, I would like to see the other map. Too bad we don't have the physical map there to look at, because we do have the original site plan available too. So it would be nice to have the original site plan right
Oh, the
next to
original site, yeah.
that was approved. That was the approved site plan, and show that with this location.
I have one silly question. Were we locked in? Did they make modifications to that plan without altercations? With that recourse that they had?
I don't know. I mean, it's if it was a special permit, they would be locked in with the proposal shown. But if this is just sort of a zoning permit site plan, you know, and what they're proposing still complies with, you know, setbacks and coverage and things like that, they could probably move it around. But it, you know, as Pete had said, this is something you guys, you know, have sort of traditionally wanted to take a look at. But you know, it's just basically governed by, you know, the standard zoning regulations.
so do we know?
Propane installation close to, if it's close to a property line, I mean, the fire marshal has privy over that anyway for setback requirement by the size of the tanks.
It would be, Pete, I just put this on the screen. Is it in this area over here near the solar
Correct.
panels?
Yep, correct.
And it's solar panels on that same property?
I think on the school property.
Actually, it is. Yes, it is. Those solar panels are, I believe the property line is on the south side of those. There's a fence along there. I believe that is the separation between the school's property and what the town has for the town garage property. So technically, yeah, it's not going to be a setback issue as far as that goes. Thank you for pulling this up. It's helping out. I mean, if you guys feel comfortable kicking it back to me, just to have a zoning permit, that's fine too. But in the past, we've always just done this where it's always gone to the board. So I was just following a normal protocol we do.
I would vote to kick it back to Peter, just so we don't, you know, so it's treated like a zoning permit.
Anybody else have a comment?
Do you need a motion?
I don't think we do we?
Well, I mean, it came in as,
Yeah, I would just give a motion, put it in play, and then you kick it back to me, and then I got something to go by.
Make a motion then? All right. Juliet, you want to make a motion on that?
make a motion to authorize the zoning official,
Zoning enforcement officer.
what is it, zoning enforcement officer,
Yep.
to process this application.
Want to second that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Correspondence, I don't think there was any. I haven't been into town hall, so I couldn't tell you. Next would be ZEO report.
We got Brown Road, the subdivision on Brown Road's moving along. Got 4 building permits in. He's continuing to move along over there with those, and we had a variance over on 24 Beachview extension for a deck. It was close to a property line, but other than that, it's been fairly quiet.
And then it's general planning discussion.
So, oh, go ahead, Juliet.
Can we change the date of the reg change meeting? Otherwise, I'll never be able to come.
Yeah, that was, and well, that was a comment at the last reg workshop. Was obviously, you know, this meeting, we had a couple of public hearings, but generally speaking, things have been relatively quiet with planning and zoning, and the thought was we could just set aside some time within the regular meeting to talk about some regulation amendments without having to have a whole separate session, which is also inconvenient for several members.
All right, well, so I have a question about that. You guys, we've set up actual meetings. If we move it to something else, they're going to be considered special meetings at that point, correct?
No.
Mm-mm.
All you would need to do is include on your regularly scheduled agendas for the second Tuesdays or second Wednesdays, and a workshop item.
All right. So what do you want to do them? And after the meeting on a Wednesday?
Doesn't matter when, I mean, just during the meeting at some point, I guess.
All right. I'm not up for putting them on the end of the meeting. I'm up at 4:30 in the morning to be to work by 7 a.m. and or before. I'm not interested in staying in a meeting till God awful knows how late, personally. That's me.
Which is totally fair. And the other thing is, you know, so similarly, you shouldn't necessarily, be required to attend an entirely separate meeting on a separate day that also takes away time.
Yep.
But and again, there's, you know, obviously the regulations need to be fixed, and we're working on it. But
Yep.
you're not operating under a deadline such that we're racing against the clock to get that done by whatever, August or October or whatever. This is something
Correct.
that the commission can hack away at as time permits.
Well, everybody was on board before for the 4th Wednesday of the month.
No, I understand that, Scott. I do. I can't help you with a particular skill set that I have because I have a conflicting meeting that night, and I just wanted to help you do them.
I get it. I'm for leaving it where it's at, personally. I've changed everything around so I could make that. I'm for leaving it where it's at. I'm hoping that at some point, I mean, you can always write in and leave your comments, Juliet. I mean, they're not saying that you can't participate.
No, I know. It's more of a discussion type thing, though.
I am totally against having it after a regular meeting. Just makes for a long day.
Yep.
Wednesdays are personally, my Wednesdays are the worst days. I also get up at 4:30 in the morning, do a lot of stuff, and then off I'm going. I could work it into any other day if it works for somebody else, but just to continue on, yeah, no, you won't see me.
Yeah, and I think the other issue is that I believe, other than really Fridays, I could be wrong, town hall is occupied in some other way, shape, or form. And I believe that's why we went to the 4th Wednesday.
Could do it Zoom, though.
Personally, Zoom, I hate Zoom. I hate the
Yep.
fact that we don't have anything for, I deal with Zoom all the time at work. I hate Zoom. I like to see people's faces. I like to have discussion. I like to make notes. I like to have things in front of me. That's just my personal opinion.
Or the library.
Library, we have the firehouse, school, there's other options.
Yep.
Oh, we're burning our house down. I'll go on mute.
Joe, any thoughts?
Do you say Joe?
Yeah, any thoughts?
I can't do Tuesdays or Thursdays, so I'm fine
can't
with
do-
Wednesdays.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm fine with Wednesday. I'm fine with Friday. Wednesday.
I'm fine with,
Wednesday's a-
I'm fine with a Friday. I don't
Yeah,
care
I mean,
about
I hate
Friday.
to give up a Friday night, but whatever.
I know. Well, I don't do anything
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, I'm not interested in Fridays.
What about the first or third Wednesday?
I'm fine with any Wednesday.
Wednesday, whatever.
First Wednesday is wetlands, and I don't know what the third Wednesday is.
No, but meeting somewhere else on that
Yeah, we can-
Wednesday.
Well,
Yeah,
we
go
have
somewhere
to,
else.
we have to see about that.
Yeah, we'd have to call the firehouse or the library.
For the library, yeah.
Yeah, I'm open to any of that.
Yeah.
Steve, any thoughts?
I'd have to see what you guys come up with because I'm on 4 different committees.
Right.
Between
So-
the housing thing, the inland wetlands, this,
Right.
and once in a while Forge Bridge. So
So what days work for you?
I agree with some of it. The Wednesdays are tough. This one I tried it purposely, obviously.
Yep.
I thought inland wetlands was on Thursdays though, first week of the month.
They
I think
may
it's a
be.
Thursday.
They may be.
So Monday nights, Mondays are Mondays, so Mondays suck all around. So I'm good any Monday. And I mean, like I say, if there's no meeting going on, I'm trying to do whatever I can. So
Right. Same here.
I mean, the other thing I could do is just give John comments or whatever, and then if there's something in particular that I want, we could discuss 5 minutes at a regular meeting. I mean, we could dedicate 5 or 10 minutes during a regular meeting to just, if it's something that warrants discussion, that's all.
Well, everything warrants a discussion.
No, I know, but I mean, if it's something that you had, say I gave you notes and you didn't, and it was something that you didn't agree on or we wanted to discuss, we could just pull them out.
I'm
I don't want
fine
to
with that.
the entire apple cart. I just was saying if we could dedicate a little time during a meeting, that would work too.
I would be fine with that. How's everybody else with that?
I'm fine with that. I mean, personally, I wouldn't mind going. I know you guys all get up super early, but I'd rather get it all out of the way in one night and then waste 2 Wednesdays. But
Right.
that's
Oh, I
just me.
get that too, but
I get that too, but
Yeah, I know it makes for a long evening though. It does.
it makes for a long.
But
and I apologize. I missed last meeting. I had the flu. Thought I had COVID, but it was just the flu. So I was down and out and I didn't want anybody to get sick.
so what's our final answer? Did we get one?
No.
I think the final answer is leave it as it is, and then Juliet will give her thoughts and comments to John for our meeting, and then we'll have a 5 or 10 minute discussion at the end of our regular meeting of anything that needs to get discussed.
Sounds good.
That sounds fine with me. Does that work for you, Julia?
Yeah, it's fine. I'll mark it up. I already did before, so it's okay.
I'd like to make one comment to the board. can we get Susan, and I'm sure you're listening, can you please call the board if something like this happens? It just by chance that I checked my email before the meeting. Otherwise, I would have been like Juliet and Patricia down in the parking lot, not knowing what's going on. Plus, the public didn't know what was going on. I'm sure we would have had some people for the meeting tonight. Just a phone call. You've got our numbers. You've got mine.
Well, can I piggyback on one other topic on that? I think
Yep.
if a packet was mailed to everybody prior to with site plans and everything, we probably could have moved forward via Zoom today with the subdivision stuff.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think it's imperative that we have a fail-safe that everybody gets a printed copy of everything in their possession before the meeting.
I brought that up at the last meeting, Scott.
Okay.
What?
Why?
Well, just to get them sent via mail or just print it off and pick them up or something.
Well, I think this was a prime example of why it should have been
Yep.
done. John, do you have anything else? We kind of got off your planner discussion.
Well, no, it was, that's the major thing that we're working on, other than sort of applications is the regulatory changes and, yeah, no, and just the discussion we had last meeting, last regulations meeting was the structure and scheduling of this. So that's why I wanted to bring it up.
Okay. All right. I believe for some reason my copy got cut off here, but is there anything else on the agenda? Is that it?
Mine stopped at 10, you know.
Yeah, I think that's it. So
Someone
just to be
wanna-
clear, we're on for April 27th. Is that the deal?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that screen. Correct. So we're still on for the 27th at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
What chapters are we doing? So I can,
Yeah, what
Um,
chapter?
Three.
I was working on 4 and starting on 5.
Okay.
And there's still some work that we're doing on the first couple of chapters based on discussion at last time.
my God, my notes here are crazy.
Someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Have a good evening, guys.
All right.